I'm not as good at rock and roll as this next person, but welcome back. My name is Mr. Reality from Reality Forecast on YouTube and at Reality Forecast, and I'm trying to update the Ko-Fi. And hey, Liz, welcome back.
Hey, I just said let's rock and roll. And here we are with Jimi Hendrix.
Tragically, life cut short at 27, and a huge, everyone loves the Jimi Hendrix, but I wanted to get into his head and into his soul and see if we can answer some questions.
All right, I've got him here. He's happy to answer questions today.
What has he been doing since he passed away the 1970? That was 50 years ago.
Oh my God, was it really that long ago? Jeez. What have you been doing since 1970, since your passing? He's been reconnecting with his grandmother.
Did he reincarnate yet?
Did you reincarnate yet? Twice.
Twice in 50 years. What about those lifetimes?
What were those lifetimes? He left as a child in those lifetimes.
What was the benefit to the soul in that short lifetime?
What was the benefit to the soul in that short lifetime? It was bringing about karmic life lessons to those that he had made contracts with.
What incarnation number was Jimi Hendrix's life?
What incarnation is Jimi Hendrix's life? He's in the 300. So he's, a little more than new, but not medium or old soul.
So can he describe the moment that he wanted to pursue a career in music?
Describe the moment that you wanted. Since he was very little, he always wanted to play music. He used to sing, he used to dance. Music was very central to his life.
Who inspired him?
Who inspired you? A lot of the blues singers, actually. Chicago blues. Chicago blues is his biggest inspiration. What about rock and roll? No, blues all the way. He loved the blues. He was very close with the grandmother. Sorry, I have to put this out. I feel like this grandmother or grandmother-like figure raised him.
How did he die?
How did you die? His heart cardiac arrest.
Was it intentional? Was he murdered?
Were you murdered? No. Was it intentional? No. He's showing me, and I don't know too much about him, but he's showing me like he was shooting up.
So the light that shines bright, another member of the 27 Club, is there any reason that he checked out at 27 years old? Is it part of a cult symbology or just happenstance?
Ooh, why did you check out? What is this 27 Club? It's very significant. Why is it very significant? Because at 27, it's make or break time. And life will either make you and you go on, you shape up, you become responsible, you do all the normal things that people are supposed to do, family, marriage, or you keep living like you're 15 years old. And there's a big shift in the body at 27, 28. And that's why they can't handle it.
Is that mentally, physically, and spiritually, those shifts?
It's more physical. It's more physical. It's like you're starting to adapt to an aging process at 28. So where you could, eat, sleep, and drink rock and roll and drugs and all of that, your body gets to a point it just can't handle it anymore. It starts to slow down. But the people don't slow down with it a lot of times. And that's the issue. Your body cannot metabolize the amount of substances you're taking in prior to that shifting over. And that therefore there's a lot more drug overdoses at that age.
Did he know from a soul contract that he was going to burn brightly quickly and go out quickly?
On a soul level, yes, it was about, even though he was here for such a short time, making such a big impact in his music.
How does he feel about the political movements of the 1960s, and did they influence the music he put out?
Oh, absolutely. The struggle was real, especially for Black people. He says, my family, my friends, my community, it was difficult. And the only way we could gain our freedom was through music. That's why music was so prominent.
What does he think about the music industry now?
It's definitely changed. It's self-produced, self-published. There's no longer like the big stars really like we used to see. That whole claim to fame, here today, gone tomorrow, hit songs on radios. I mean, it's totally changed. It's now more grassroots. Like if you want to put something out there, you publish it yourself. You want a gig, you go find the gig yourself. You don't wait to be discovered. You have to discover yourself and put yourself out there. And I'm like, but then that sort of, is not good for a lot of talented people who have no money. He's like, Liz, what are you talking about? Anybody can make a video and put themselves anywhere. If they're good, people will listen.
Did he feel like his creativity was stifled at all by any type of bigwigs in the music industry?
All the time. All the time. He wanted to do a lot more, but he said he was forbidden.
Like what?
Like what sort of certain songs, songs that were very sexual in nature, songs that would talk about drug use in a very open and, not through metaphors. And he says that was not allowed.
So, what do you think his lasting legacy on music will be?
What is your last name? There'll be a movie. Have they already made a movie about him?
Probably it's 50 years ago. I'm sure they would have done something like
Um,
that. Um, what challenges did he face mostly in his short life as Jimi Hendrix?
what
The
challenge
biggest struggles.
did you face? Well, I mean, acceptance was his biggest struggle. He's telling me like that was always the struggle, like playing white music, a Black man playing white music in a, in a white club or for white people. And they accepted it at that time when it was very controversial. People didn't want to know that this Black guy comes out playing guitar like he did. They wanted to see some, he said, white dude behind the guitar. And here I come. And they had to accept me. And just as I had to accept them, that they were my target audience.
What themes did he most want to cover in his music? What was burning for him to convey?
What themes did you mostly want in your music? Uh, Sex and drugs. They can take you to places that you can't exist here on the earth plane. It's like it transports you off the earth plane.
it transports you, but is that looking back from that perspective, your higher spirit mind, was that the best use to try and escape the physical realm?
Is that the best use to it? That was a good question. To best vehicle to escape the physical realm. I mean, at that time, he says yes. Now, no. There's a lot more freedom of expression. The racial barriers have been broken down. People are more accepting of, what anybody wants to be, who they are, what they look like. Nobody cares. But certainly back then, it was, other people in the community are like, you're going straight to hell for the music you play and the way you carry on.
Did he form any deals with the devil?
Did you form any? Absolutely not. He says, I tried. What do you mean you tried? He says the devil spoke to him a few times. But I mean, did you go to hell for playing that kind of music? No.
Are there pets in the afterlife?
Are there pets? Yeah. Yeah, there are. Whatever you want.
What does his afterlife scene look like? Can he paint a picture for us?
You know, I don't know who this older lady is that he's just hanging around up there. Is this your mom? Your mom and but a grandmother extremely close to these two ladies. And he's just enjoying being with them. Now, so what seems like 50 years to us here, it's like that up there, right? 50 years is nothing up there. That's only like a few seconds or a few minutes in the whole span of things. The only reason we have time, this concept of time here, is because of gravity, but there's no gravity up there. So therefore, what are you doing all these 50 years? Like, he's hanging out with his family. He just wants to be at peace with his family. He didn't find a lot of peace here in this lifetime on the earth plane. It was a struggle. And there were lots of scammers. There were lots of people trying to come in and steal his money, steal his work. He was always having difficulties. They were taking advantage of him, spending money, taking his money. So he had a lot of difficulty here.
What were some of the themes that he was trying to convey in Voodoo Child?
Ooh, what were some of the themes that you were trying to convey in Voodoo Child? That the devil is all around us.
Did you have any experiences, or I don't know, any experience with voodoo and like witchcraft when you were growing up in your family?
Did you have any experiences with voodoo or witchcraft? No, but he'd always heard of it. I feel like his family were actually quite religious.
What does he miss most about the life of Jimi Hendrix?
The ability to make music and to entertain people and make people smile and laugh and cry and experience emotions in their soul that they have not felt in many years. And he enjoyed that. That was why he did the music he did.
Is he not able to make music on the other side?
Are you able to make music on the other side? He says, I can write music, but as far as like playing and entertaining an audience like he did down here on the earth plane, he says they don't even want to listen. They're just busy doing their own thing. So funny.
Wow. Well, any questions for the great Jimi Hendrix?
Oh my goodness. So many. And I'm sure the audience will have many, many questions. So please, we can do a part two. Drop it in the chat.
Thanks so much, Mr. Hendrix. And thanks everybody for listening.
Great.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you. This was awesome.